A lot of you guys feel like you raised from the dead this morning, didn't you? Like, I was dead to the world and I woke up. Well, God bless you for getting up so early to be here. I wasn't planning on playing that. And then I remembered I had it in my phone. Like, that might be fun. That's chapter 20. If you're familiar with the Bible, that was chapter 20 of John, of the book of John. And many years ago, I did a recording of the entire Gospel of John that I gave away at conventions. And it's online, free. There's that magic word again. Free to download at my fan club website. It's really cool. And I'm sure you noticed it was a really contemporary version. It wasn't like henceforth, beginning on the day of the Lord, and for barely whatsoever thou hast, amen. And like the King James, which is sometimes a little difficult to follow. It was a version called The Message, which is wonderful. It's really, really cool. I've shared this before at other conventions on Easter, and I probably shared it here, but I'm going to share it again because I think it's probably the most poignant Easter message I can think of. How many of you have never been to like an Easter Sunday service with me? Oh, thank goodness. I was going to say, if nobody raised their hands, like, uh-oh, I'm in trouble. Deja vu. We're here again, he's saying the same thing. This is creepy. I want to share something with you this morning about the resurrection, because I don't know if you've ever thought about this, but if there is no resurrection, there is no Christianity. You understand that? What's interesting about Jesus is that he is the only founder of any religion who's not in the tomb he was put in. Which is extremely important. Every other religious leader, you can go to their tomb. You can see their bones, where they're buried. But Jesus is not in his tomb. I've been there. It's quite amazing. But if there is no resurrection, there is no Christianity. The power of Christianity is in the resurrection. A lot of people think, well, I don't know. I don't know if I can buy into this whole rose from the dead thing. And rightly so. Even the Pharisees, right? The Pharisees in Jesus' day were terrified when he was gone from his tomb, because he had predicted he was going to rise again, right? He said that this body's going to be destroyed, and in 3 days, it will rise up. So the Pharisees knew that he was actually predicting that he was going to rise again. So they're like, okay, we got to make sure that doesn't happen. Now, we know he's not going to rise from the dead, but we got to make sure there's no funny business. Because if somebody, for some reason his body disappears, that's going to be bad. It's going to be like, what he said was true, and we're going to look like idiots, and so we can't have that. But a lot of people today, throughout history probably, have had a really hard time buying into the idea that a human being could rise from the dead. Right? Sure. A lot of people think, I can't buy into that mysticism, It takes too much faith. More faith than I have to believe that some guy is going to rise from the dead. You all may be some of the smartest people I know. One thing I've learned about anime fans is they're smart. They're very smart. They're intelligent. So what I want to share with you today is the thinking man's approach to the resurrection. In other words, if you don't believe, or you'd need a little more, evidence that really happened in order for you to believe that yourself. If you're one of those people, you're certainly not alone, right? A lot of people are like, come on, something else happened. He didn't rise from the dead. Something happened. I don't know what, but it wasn't that. That's too out there. So today I'm going to share with you the thinking man's approach to the resurrection, and here it is. Let's assume Jesus did not rise from the dead. Let's just assume that. If he didn't, then we have to come up with another excuse, don't we? We have to come up with a plausible reason for what happened. Right? Something that makes more sense than the supernatural rising from the dead. Right? Something more believable. Something more, scientific.